let's take a quick break so we can let the brain cool down a little bit. So, yeah, I'm going to play a song for you that's a very nice Romanian song that's going to show you how we shift between harmonies. It's a popular song. So it's in Re minor, D minor, and you'll see how it goes from minor to major, just to hear the flavor. It's a very famous kind of a children's song. So it went from one, dominant, one, right? But then it's going to shift to the major. Now. So where did I go? Re minor. I went to the major relative. Fa major, right? What is a relative? The same 7 notes, but the numbers are different. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. When we start with the 6th note, this one, then it's the minor relative, minor third relative. Same 7 notes, but the numbers are different. This is 1. So basically the whole song shifts between the minor relative and the major relative. That takes me in 8 different locations. I decided to go back to Re minor. That was a short trip in the neighborhood between one and another neighborhood. The major with the minor relative. It's in a very close family because it's the same 7 notes. Right? You want me to play a Japanese song? Japanese songs usually use the pentatonic, but they use the pentatonic scale, which is only 5 sounds. They do not use the 4th and the 7th. Most Asian music does not have the concept of harmony, you know, major, minor. It's all. I teach the kids if they want to play Asian music, use the black notes. They say, oh my God, I'm playing Asian music, I'm a genius, you know? And I get them. But the structure, basically they're missing the key notes in tonal music at the leading notes. This one. The Diavolo si musica. The 4 and 7, if you take it out, you have modal music. It takes away the stress, the Western stress. It's all peaceful, blissful. Shen Yu.
You know, my father's sunset music didn't have any kind of notes.
Right, by ear.
Just words.
Words.
So I said, how do you know?
You hear the music.
He said it's here.
That's right.
That's what he said. So when I was, as a kid, wanted to sing, say, Western song, he would follow me.
Okay.
From by ear, I guess.
Now,
I was singing.
I got you.
And then with the rhythm, then he had them.
Well, music until about 100 years ago, 200 years ago, was mostly oral music that was passed down traditionally in all cultures. Nowadays, we write it down and all that. But even today, all over the world, except Europe now, music is transmitted through singing in the family, songs. The American folk music, from generations to generations, it's transmitted in the family. The kids learn the song on the banjo and the guitar, and they just sing the song. Nobody wrote music down in kids. Only the wealthy families had access to learn the notes and all that. Yes. So oral tradition is something that's even to this day very used around the world. And there's nothing wrong with playing by ear. That shows musicality and a connection directly with the music, with your ears, with your voice, with your heart. So singing by ear, there's nothing wrong with that. It's been done for many, many years. So what we're going to do now, I'd like to introduce you now. We're going to leave the closing part with the 7th and the 9th chords. Did this make any sense what I showed you with the major, third, the minor, especially for you, because you're a professional musician. But for you, did it make sense? Did you understand the idea? The melodies, there's 3 basic Legos here. The minor second is called the melodic intervals. That means they make melody. Yes, we use other intervals, but the minor and the major second melody. So the major second and the minor second are usually considered melody intervals. Doesn't mean you don't use a third, a fifth, and other things. The third is the building block for chords. Major, minor. So it doesn't matter how you stack them up. I'm shifting between major and minor thirds here. Watch. All thirds, either major or minor, and that's what the study of the theory of chords, which is another workshop, deals with. It's a 3-hour workshop. We can do that in the future. Is how do you mix and how do they represent music? Beethoven, jazz, romantics, pop music. You know, it's all the combination of these thirds, major and minor thirds. So, mathematically speaking. The scale divided in 12 with the 7 notes represents a very, very special, a unique situation where these 7 notes combined, played, reflect the relationship between all the notes, and they can be transposed in the world of the 12 notes. It's a very interesting mathematical theory. So these 7 notes can be repeated on any other, there's 12 notes. We call this the chromatic scale. We call this diatonic scale because, I'll explain why. Chromatic comes from Greek color. Every sharp, every flat gives a little color, flavors. Diatonic means simple, flat, or within a range. I didn't explain this, the musicians know this, the circle of fifths. That the 7 notes are as close as they can come together, and that's called a diatonic scale because that's the natural order of the 7 notes that we hear here melodically, seconds and thirds, second, minor and major second. But that's not the natural order of these sounds. This is called the melodic order, major seconds, minor seconds. The actual natural order, because the roots of the tonal system are in the laws of acoustics. Every sound vibrates with itself in infinite smaller parts. And that's what gives the sound of a piano. So in short, every sound, if you take a string, when it vibrates, and if you listen carefully, you'll hear other sounds singing together. So much that we cannot hear it because the piano is a man-made system divided equally in 12 parts. But in reality, the sound subdivides itself in infinite parts. For the purpose of music and tonal music, we are interested in the series of these sounds. So if you take a string and you put your finger in the middle, if I had the piano open like a grand piano, and I touch the string in the middle, that string, if you play the violin, and Steve knows, if you play the violin and you put the finger in the middle of the string, it will give you a perfect octave. If you put this finger on the third of the string, that means you divided the string in 3 parts, it will give you a perfect fifth. This is the building block for all the scales, all the solar systems, the perfect fifth. And then you have the perfect fourth, major third, the minor third, and then it subdivides into smaller parts. but that's the subject of another workshop, the overtones or the harmonics. Every sound sounds the way it sounds, piano, your voice, flute, trombone, because the series of overtones does not change. It's the quality and the volume of those overtones. So if you have those 16 overtones on a synthesizer, and you can do that, and you change the volume of each one of these 16, you'll get the violin, you will get the trombone, the piano. It's the combination of the volume. One is at 65, one is at 72, one is at 34. And you can see that with a synthesizer that shows you the numbers for each frequency. And that's why sound, because people say, what is the piano sound? Well, because it's wood. Yeah, but the sound has qualities. And those qualities are given by the body of the instrument, the shape, and things like that. But that's the subject of another conversation. So the perfect fifth is the building block for scales. But now I'd like to open up the book on the theory of intervals that I gave you the manual. And let's see, do you have that manual? It's in the second part. So let's open that if we may. Yeah. It's in the second part where the green divider is or something. So, exactly. I'm going to take one myself. Good. So that's the theory of intervals. We're going to study that in detail. This is the part that's not including the 30. This extra manual is $15, whatever it costs me to print. And I'm looking for a manual for myself. Where did I put all those manuals?
You can use mine.
No, but I brought it up here. I just have it in the other. They're at the bottom of this one, I think, yes. They just sit there at the bottom. Oh, here they are. So, I'm just going to explain real quick so you can study this for next time. So, the cover says elements and notation, 10 definitions, 12 classification, and 10 table. If you understand and eventually master this is done, takes almost a year to do it in 2 semesters in college for students to cover all this because it goes at the highest level. But for the introductory purpose of this manual, you turn the page and it says the elements and notation of the interval. And then there's part 2, the 10 definitions of an interval, part 3, classification of intervals, and part 4, the 10 tables. For the purpose of today, we're going to look only at part 1 and part 2. So part 1, page 10. I'm going to read out loud. If you have any questions, please ask me. An interval has only 2 notes. The lower pitch or frequency note is called the bass or lower note. The higher pitch or frequency note is called the top or higher note. Only the perfect prime interval has 2 identical notes at the same pitch or frequency, like do, do, si, si. The perfect prime, that's the way we abbreviate it, occurs when 2 instrument voices play a particular note in unison. So if you and I were in chorus and we sing no, you hear that there's 2 people singing it, but it's the same note. That's called the unison. All right? And the way we describe it, I wrote the notes, do, sol, and it shows it's the lower note. In music, anything that sounds low, it's called low. Anything that sounds high, it's called high. So if we have 2 sounds, we would identify one is lower, one is higher. But the do being the same note, played by 2 pianos, they're identical, though they come from 2 different sources. But that's why it's called a unison. If I had do, do, the voice and the piano are singing the same note, but it's the same note. So these 2 notes are called an interval. The lower note, the higher note. Or the lower note, the higher note. Does that make sense? The lower note, the higher note. All these intervals, they're intervals, they're distances between notes. In music, we use the word interval as a measuring, as explain distance between 2 notes. I don't know why they use interval, but in sports, an interval means the time you use to relax for 30 seconds until you do another exercise. So in music, interval means the distance between 2 notes. These are intervals. And sounds, they create a new sound. We call it a major third, but it's a new sound, which is a combination of the two frequencies, right? And it gives you tension, a feeling of happiness, sad, emotions, because sounds stimulate your emotions. You cannot describe. The building has 5 stories. That's prosaic, but it's poetry. It's interpretation. It's your feeling. What does music do? It transports you if you remember the music, or it gives you a feeling of sadness if you know the story, love story, and all that. So now, number 2. Any questions about what I just explained now at number 1, the elements of the interval? Any questions? No? You're good? So silent means agreement. Okay. So number 2, notation of intervals. There are 18 commonly used intervals. For the purpose of efficiency, we abbreviate or use shorthand when we notate with words and numbers intervals. Double augmented intervals are marked with an X, and double diminished interval with 2 minuses. So here they are. Perfect prime, that's minor second, major second. There is an augmented second because you're making the second go up by a semitone. Then there is the minor third, major third, diminished 4, perfect 4, augmented 4, diminished 5th, diminished 5th, perfect 5th, augmented 5th, minor 6th, major 6, diminished 7, minor 7, major 7, perfect octave. We'll go into everything slowly. And here's the notation of the intervals. Do, do is a perfect prime. A minor second would be do, re flat. If anybody has a question or something is not good. A major second is when you lift the re to a re sharp, it's called an augmented second. Now you're going to say a minor third is do, mi flat, and it sounds the same. You notice that? That the re sharp and mi flat are the same note. In one circumstance, it's called augmented second, and the next to it, it's a minor third. Did you see that? Do, re sharp, and do, mi flat. You can circle these 2 intervals and write enharmonic. Means they sound the same. It's like homonyms in language, when 2 words sound the same and are spelled differently and have different meanings. This is the equivalent of, and you're going to say, so what's the difference, David? You have do, re sharp with do, E flat. Here's the difference. Every note wants to go somewhere. Tension needs resolution. The concept of tension. So when you have tension, you want peace. So you either go to more tension or you go to peace. So, for example, this is tension. It wants to go where? So notes either go up or go down. So if you have a sharp, it's a French song called Porter, Allez-vous-en. So you would go do, re, re, mi. But if it was a minor third, not an augmented second, do, re sharp with a do, mi flat, you'd be. So when it's flat, in general, it wants to go down. So sharps, in general, want to resolve up. Minor. So it's the way you think, the way you feel. So when you're a composer, you would say, if you play this, I'm in minor now, right? 7. But if I change the rhythm and I try to think of it as a sharp, this as a minor.
It's pointing you in the direction of the chordal progression.
Right, but your mind as a composer or someone that sings this has to feel which way the sound is taking you. Is it? And then it's a sharp, right? Do re re sharp mi, right? Do cause do re re mi. But if I do this, mi, naturally I would play mi fa re do. So every note has potential, tension. It can go anywhere. So this can go, but this is one in E flat, in E flat is right. But this can become 3. Right, 1, 2, 3. And I'm not going to change this. It became in B major now. See. Became 1 again. So 1. It became 3 in Do minor. It became 3 in B major. It became again 1 in B flat. So every note can become any one of the function of any one of these notes. It's again traveling through the system of 30 tonalities, the solar system. Okay, so that's where it starts with the Legos, with these intervals. So I want to explain to you the idea of an enharmonic or the harmonies in music. Do sharp, do re sharp major, augmented third sounds the same with a minor third, but it's the tension, it's the direction where it takes you that creates that tells you whether it's an augmented or major third, and again you're gonna have as a special interval, not used a lot, the diminished fourth. Let's go to the perfect fourth. Do, fa. You see do fa, perfect fourth. But if I diminish it by 1 semitone, it sounds exactly like the major third, the homonym. Rarely used, but it's here for certain types of composers. So perfect fourth. Then if you lift it up a little bit, augmented, right? Those are the romantic, post-romantic. Augmented. The jazz musicians love this chord.
Introduced in bebop, I think was
bebop, but that's where it comes from. Beautiful. But it's all from these little bits and pieces. These are the molecules, or the whatever you want to call the
elements. The elements.
The elements, yeah. And then you have the augmented fourth, which is a harmonic with the diminished fifth. Usually sharp means up, or the diminished fourth, the diminished fifth. And then the perfect fifth, the augmented fifth wants to go up. The minor sixth, that's the love story song. Okay, then the major sixth, we know this for a famous piece of music. Right? Famous opera. And then the diminished seventh, which is enharmonic or homonym of the major 6, which is a little B double flat, the minor 7, the major 7, it's right here, the major 7, and the perfect harmony. Now, it's very important now that we look at part 2, the 10 definitions of the interval. Let's take a quick bathroom break, and with this, we're gonna close this section. We're gonna finish with just singing the 7th chord and the 9th chord, and with that, I think we'll approach 2 o'clock. So we're just gonna take a quick break and let this settle in. Bathroom, conversations, and a little water. Okay.